The scientific study of emotional intelligence began in 1990, when psychologists Peter Salovey and John Mayer published a landmark paper proposing that emotions are not obstacles to reasoning but information. Their model defined emotional intelligence as the ability to perceive emotions accurately in oneself and others, to use emotional information to facilitate thought, to understand how emotions evolve and interact, and to manage emotions in service of goals. This four-branch model remains the gold standard in academic research. It was Daniel Goleman's 1995 bestseller Emotional Intelligence that brought the concept to popular attention, though Goleman's broader definition included personality traits that Salovey and Mayer considered conceptually separate. The first branch of the Salovey-Mayer model is emotional perception, the ability to read emotions accurately in facial expressions, body language, vocal tone, and art. Research using the MSCIT, the Mayer-Salovey-Caruso Emotional Intelligence Test, shows substantial individual variation in this capacity. People high in emotional perception notice microexpressions, the fleeting, involuntary facial movements that occur in the fraction of a second before a person controls their expression. Paul Ekman's cross-cultural research established that 6 basic emotional expressions, happiness, sadness, anger, fear, disgust, and surprise, are universally recognized across human cultures, suggesting their biological basis. The second branch, using emotions to facilitate thought, is perhaps the least intuitive. Research demonstrates that different emotional states actually improve performance on different cognitive tasks. Mild sadness, counterintuitively, improves attention to detail and reduces cognitive shortcuts. Mild positive affect broadens the scope of attention and supports creative problem-solving. Anxiety narrows focus but improves performance on tasks requiring vigilance. High EQ individuals consciously leverage these emotional states rather than viewing them as interference. A senior executive who intentionally creates conditions of mild positive affect before a brainstorming session is operationalizing this branch of emotional intelligence. The third branch is emotional understanding, the ability to reason about how emotions change over time, how they blend into complex states, and how they respond to situational triggers. Research shows this ability strongly predicts the quality of social relationships. People high in emotional understanding can anticipate how a colleague might feel about a piece of feedback before delivering it, or recognize when frustration is likely to transition to disengagement. Emotional granularity, a term coined by psychologist Lisa Feldman Barrett, refers to the ability to distinguish between fine-grained emotional states, for example, differentiating disappointment from shame from grief. Research shows greater emotional granularity predicts better emotional regulation and mental health outcomes. The fourth and most studied branch is emotional management, the ability to regulate one's own emotions and influence others' emotional states toward productive ends. Research by James Gross at Stanford has identified 2 major families of regulation strategies. Antecedent-focused strategies, such as cognitive reappraisal, meaning changing how you think about a situation, modify emotion before it fully forms and have fewer cognitive costs. Response-focused strategies, such as suppression, meaning hiding the emotion after it has formed, require ongoing effort and have been shown to impair memory, increase physiological arousal, and reduce relationship quality over time. High EQ individuals preferentially use reappraisal. The claim that EQ predicts success better than IQ in most fields has become widely cited and frequently overstated. The research picture is more nuanced. In technically demanding fields with clear correct answers, IQ remains the dominant predictor. In roles requiring sustained social coordination, leadership, negotiation, and client relationship management, emotional intelligence adds significant predictive power beyond IQ alone. A meta-analysis by Dana Joseph and Daniel Newman found that EQ was a significant predictor of job performance, but that its predictive value was strongest in jobs with high emotional labor demands. The practical implication is not that IQ is irrelevant but that emotional intelligence addresses a different and complementary set of performance requirements.